welcome to the Red Show. Today, we are ranking our top 20 Premier League goalkeepers so far this season. Today, I'm here with Reese, Henry and Matt. How are we all doing?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
How are you, Lloyd?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, we're good. We're all good. You got your
20?
list ready?
I do indeed. Is it
do.
20? Because I might have done. Have I done that wrong?
I believe it's 20. There's 20
is
teams
20.
isn't there,
Let
in the
me-
Premier League, as far as I know. I'm pretty certain
So-
there is.
Just to add a bit of context, what this should be anyway. We've got the list of the most used goalkeeper for each of the 20 Premier League teams, and we're going to be ranking them in order of how good they've been, mainly this season. Although we will take a little bit of context from previous seasons in as well. But it's mainly
I think you
based,
have to. It's hard to ignore a
exactly.
keeper who's
But
been really
it is
good
mainly
for
based
years.
on this season's form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a couple of exclusions based on the fact that other goalkeepers have supposedly played more. One specifically that's a bit weird at the bottom. But I think it's good just to get started, yeah?
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Well, I'm pretty certain that we'll probably have a similar 20th, so I'm happy to start with
Right.
Muric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No, you
No,
can't.
okay.
He is reasonably low,
Yeah.
but the bottom is Jose Sarr.
Yeah, he is quite
Yeah.
good.
He's
He's
low. He's low, but
shocking.
he's not worse than
Shocking.
Muric.
I was surprised that Sam Johnson wasn't the Wolves player, but apparently Sarr has played more.
I've seen Muric has been better for Ipswich than he was for Burnley. That is true, but he's still not good enough for the Premier League.
Ipswich have done a lot better defensively. If you look at how many goals they've conceded and how many clean sheets that Muric has been able to keep, it's done a lot better than Jose Sarr, who seems to ship at least a goal every single week.
Yeah, but Ipswich do concede a goal most weeks. I think if you looked at their stats with like saves and XG prevented, Muric would probably be lower than Sarr.
I
Yeah?
disagree, if I'm being honest. I think it's one of those things where you can see Muric make a pretty decent save every now and again. I don't see Sarr doing anything. He's basically
He's
basically
seen it.
pointless.
I would also say this season he's been a lot worse than previous season. I know we are basing it mainly on this season, but
Exactly.
Sarr has done it in the Premier League much more than Muric has.
His first year was good, and ever since then he's been pretty shocking.
I think the heights he's reached are much, much higher than Muric.
Yeah, but those heights were a long time ago.
But I still think he's better now.
I disagree completely.
Right, shall
We're
we
gonna
move
be doing
on?
this all
Agree
day
to
on.
disagree.
Yeah. Number 19. Who have we got?
Who did I go for?
Who is on the list?
I have Alphonse Areola.
I do as well.
Oh, brilliant,
Yeah,
Lloyd.
I've gone Areola as well.
So
Yeah.
Areola is reasonably low. He's much higher than that actually.
Really?
He has been not bad.
I
Who's
think
your
he's been
19
really
then?
poor.
My 19th is Flecken.
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 I think Flecken was
Wow.
poor last
The-
season,
the
but I actually
worst-
think he has
that-
improved
the
this
The
year.
worst
Shocking.
goalkeeper in the league last season.
Yeah.
This season, better, but not by much.
I think the thing with
I think he's been a lot better
Flecken
this
is
season, to be totally honest.
Brentford have not defended
Can't
very
disagree.
well, and I've seen. I've not watched Brentford much, but when I do watch them, he does make quite a few saves.
He's bailed them out a lot.
Yeah,
of
he's
times
bailed
this
them out
season,
a lot.
massively compared to last year. You know,
I think he's been bad at times. With Areola, I was surprised that it wasn't Fabianski who's played more, but I just think every time Areola's played, he's been rubbish, and when Fabianski plays, they defend a lot better. They look more comfortable at the back.
And I think the thing as well, the fact it's like 2025 and Fabianski's still starting over Areola.
It shows
You
a
kind
lot,
of
doesn't it?
think, like, how is Fabianski now? Like, was he 38, 39? Do you know what I mean? He's got, he's
41, I think.
Oh, what? Do you know
He's
what?
the oldest player in the league this season.
Flappy Hansky.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Fabianski played last night. I think he's back. He played. I know he played in the cup against Villa. I think he played last night, but he just makes that defence look more assured.
Yeah.
They look a lot more comfortable when he's there than they do with Areola, where they look worried that if the ball goes past them, then they've conceded.
Yeah, I think from the back, Areola isn't that great as a
Oh, yeah,
keeper and stuff,
100%.
and that's they struggle with
I
that.
mean, as by the context of goalkeepers at the moment and the fact that ball-playing goalkeepers are the preferred option now,
Yeah.
I think with Potter, you're going to end up with Areola starting most games.
I know West Ham though. A lot of fans have said to me that they really, really don't like Areola. He was meant to be a really promising keeper when he came.
Yeah.
Can't remember who did he join from? Was it?
It was
It was a
Real
French
Madrid
team.
Was it
on
PSG?
loan
Was
from
it-
PSG.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, but he's just not lived up to it at all.
no,
No,
not lived up to
He
the
used to be a
expectation.
lot higher in this list, but he is on my list quite low, but he's not this low.
Right.
Because I feel like there is still a little bit of quality there. Flecken, I just think he cost them goals last season. He's been better this season. I'll grant you that, but
I think he's
not
been a
enough.
lot better though.
But that's enough
Yeah.
to to bring him up off the bottom spot. That's what that buys you.
But I think there's been much worse keepers.
Yeah, I do
Disagree.
agree with Matt on
I
that
don't think
one.
I don't think he's like in the heights of like the top 10, but he's not that low either.
No. Who completes your bottom three then?
The relegated teams.
The relegated
Have you
teams.
actually put him that low, or is that list out of order?
It's out of order.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to say, Jesus. 18th, I have gone with Murish.
Right.
He has not been that good. He's been much better than these two, but he's not been that good.
I've gone for Jose Sarr.
I've gone
Yeah,
for Jose Sarr as well. Still
I've gone for
agreeing.
Sarr as well.
Interesting how we got the
So,
exact
You
same
guys
bottom
say-
three. Yeah.
You guys just got the same list.
We just
But
said it to
I think
each
so.
other before we recorded.
See,
didn't
the
I?
thing is, we all know about football, and you don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh!
That's why we've all
You
got the
don't
same
know
list.
that I control who goes in the podcast, so, you know.
Yeah, Tom controls who goes to the podcast. And Lloyd.
Give us your reasons as to why Jose Sarr is in the bottom three.
Well, I mean, it is what Henry said. He's not good enough. He's not the worst, but he's just not good enough. He's cost Wolves goals. Sam Johnson is a lot better than him. I mean, yeah, every time I've watched the Wolves when he's played, they've conceded a stupid goal, but they look a lot better with Johnson. It's the same as for me with Areola. The team looks more confident when they have Johnson in goal than they do when they have Sarr in goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Agreed.
17th place. Who have we got?
Just reminding myself, I can never remember these.
I think this is where I went Flecken as well, 17th as well.
I'm going to piss people off now.
Potentially, I've put him.
I think I've gone with him 17th as well.
I might have put someone really low, really way too low. Then I've gone with Robert Sanchez.
I've
You've gone with
17th.
Robert
I've gone with
Sanchez.
Robert Sanchez as well.
17.
He is
I did not think
shocking.
we'd agree on one.
Oh, yeah.
17.
I
Yeah,
think
because
I think,
you
right,
face so many shots. 'Cause he's
Right,
awful.
I think Chelsea have not got a keeper that they want. That much is obvious, and that is because he cannot play out from the back. And in the system that he plays in, he's a complete wrong keeper. And
Yeah.
I think he'll make some saves, but I think the saves that he's made, he might have the highest save percentage, but most keepers would make the saves that he's made, because I think he's made some good saves, but has he made any?
Yes, 100%.
I mean, I
have
no,
zero
come on, guys.
doubts
Robert
with
Sanchez.
You
to
send
be
your
fair,
best goalkeeper
I-
Strasbourg on loan.
To be fair, I haven't got him much
He
higher.
used to be a lot better.
You've got not much. you've got not much
I've got Sanchez 16th. So
Right.
Well,
Okay.
who have you had Flecken 17th? Who have you got 17th?
Yeah.
I've got Aaron Ramsdale 17.
What?
I think he's in the bottom four.
I have
said
him
this-
really, really high.
I said this when Arsenal bought in David Raya. I said to Henry, and then we used
did.
to have Helly and Dion on the show as well. I said as soon as you got David Raya Arsenal, I said that's a massive upgrade.
I have
and
to say, I
has.
think
it has been shown.
have proved
Raya
that-
is a huge upgrade on Aaron Ramsdale. Aaron
Rams-
Ramsdale is a
Oh, right.
decent goalkeeper, right? But there is a reason why not many other clubs came in for him. There is a reason for that.
Ramsdale
He went
is
to
much-
Southampton.
I think he's much more ridiculous at 17th than Sanchez is.
I got to disagree.
Yeah,
Robert Sanchez
yeah.
had a much better season.
So
I don't think
we-
he has so.
I think
He's
he
right.
has
We
done.
had this debate previously. I kind of fought for Ramsdale whilst you were saying Raya was much better, and I thought no, actually, as a
Yeah.
goalkeeper, Ramsdale is a better goalkeeper, but you need to be able to use the feet, which is I hate it because there are goalkeepers in this list that
Yeah.
used to play for Arsenal. There are two of them that if you didn't have this whole thing with goalkeepers in their feet, would be Arsenal goalkeeper right now.
Oh, yeah,
Could be
100%,
Arsenal goalkeeper right now. Two of them,
100%.
Yeah.
and it just
Yeah.
annoys me. I think
Leno and Martinez. Is that who you're talking about?
no, I was talking about Leno and Ramsdale,
Le-
but
Oh, Ramsdale, yeah.
yeah, but I was keeping it subtle for reasons. Don't. Oh, for the love of Christ. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the only reason that Ramsdale is at Southampton is because everyone else is stocked at the moment. There are a
Yeah,
couple of clubs in this
agreed.
list that are much higher.
Well-
That when they eventually move on their goalkeeper or look to make a change, he will be the first
I
person on their
don't.
short
I
list.
don't think he'd have wanted to go abroad, and that meant Southampton were the only club because
Yeah, I agree.
the only other one who would have wanted him were Ipswich, but they'd signed Muric before he was made available.
But then again, would you
Yeah.
surely not think West Ham United would have looked at the goalkeeper situation?
No, because I think they were. I think Julian
You think
Lopetegui
they
probably was comfortable because
Yeah.
he
But
didn't
why,
think
would
he
you,
he
likes
might.
why would you
Areola.
necessarily be comfortable with Areola? Who's
Because
performed like that this season?
Lopetegui thought he could get the most out of him. Probably he's like,
And
well, I
look
can
what
come
happens
and
with
get the
Lopetegui.
most.
Clearly, he's not got a brain cell between them.
You know.
So, like, if he'd been smarter, yeah, probably could have gone to West Ham, and maybe he'll go to West Ham in the summer
Yeah.
or in January. But
Who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah, but I have him 17th. I just think being in that Southampton team, it's not worked. It's not worked. It's not gone to plan for him in his career, and I don't know if he's going to stay at Southampton next season. Will he be a Championship goalkeeper again?
I don't see him as a Championship goalkeeper. I still think he's Premier League
Absolutely.
Yeah,
quality.
he probably
I
is
still
Premier
see him in the
League
Premier
quality.
League.
But I don't think he's up there as high as you guys have put him. Probably
Well, who have you got 16th then?
16th place.
We-
I have gone for Verbruggen from
Verbruggen.
Brighton.
oh, okay,
I
interesting.
put him a bit higher. I haven't watched him much this season.
He's
but
not top 10, but he is
No.
a lot higher.
See, I'm thinking I might have put this guy too low, but I've gone with Dean Henderson.
Oh, no.
Let me
I've
explain
gone a little bit higher
why.
than that.
Let me explain why. I think he's a good keeper, a very good keeper.
Right.
But compared to others on this list,
I think
he
he's been
can't
excellent
come
this
much
season
higher.
for Crystal Palace. I've got to be honest. One of their strong points this season, Palace, has been defensively.
He still had a few stinkers this season, though. Like, look at the game
Start of the
against.
season.
Look, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because that's the same reason I put Sanchez so low. Sanchez has improved in recent weeks, but he started that season so badly. And I think it's the same with Henderson for me. Like that, the one he did against Forest, where the ball literally just went through his hand. You can't do that as a Premier League keeper. And I think he is a good keeper. He's got a lot of ability, but he's not consistent enough. He has mistakes in him.
I mean, I got to disagree. I think he's been excellent this season for Crystal Palace. Really, as a goalkeeper.
I do think I should have put him higher though.
Really impressive.
I think
keeper.
Sam Johnson was one of their better players last season, and they felt comfortable sacking him off to bring in Henderson.
Yeah.
And it's a ball playing thing again. But actually, Henderson's is a lot better than a number of these keepers with his. Right, he's a lot better than some of these keepers that are ball playing goalkeepers with his hands.
Well,
he can make diving saves as well as use his feet, which I think is rare to see.
Yeah,
I think he's good, and I probably should have put him higher.
Right.
But I'd stand by what I did because I think
So,
he's made mistakes.
Henry and Reece, who did you put? Sorry,
Where is it? 16.
16th.
Oh yeah, that's why I went Sanchez.
You went Sanchez.
yeah.
So
Yeah, of course,
I've doubled up. I've got another Spanish, technically Chelsea keeper in my list.
Right, you got.
I've got Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time he showed any kind of quality. I don't think he ever did in England, if I'm being honest.
I think he did for Chelsea at times. That
But he
Super
had a
Cup-
couple of moments.
The
but
Super Cup final, I think, is probably his highlight against Liverpool. That would be probably his
to
best
go from
performance I saw him
Neto,
play.
who is pretty decent, like to send him to Arsenal to sit on the bench and do nothing, to get Kepa in.
And he has
It's
he has
such
been dropped
downgrade.
this season, Kepa. Now
He has,
Travers is
yeah.
starting
Yeah.
over him.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I just think you look at that and you go, okay, we've lost our goalkeeper, our captain, one of our best players, and we're going to go, okay, we need somebody in there who's going to be authoritarian and dominate and really hold that position down.
Yeah.
And you go for somebody who lacks confidence and is poor with his hands.
Mm-hmm. Which brings me on to 15th place, which is Kepa for me.
Yeah, he's 15th for me as well.
15th for you
15th
as
for me
well.
as well.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just not worked
Yeah,
out
he
for
is.
him again. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily done badly for Bournemouth. I think a lot of Bournemouth fans will say in some matches he's played quite well. The one game that sticks out to me as a Liverpool fan is, of course, the game where he comes out of his goal, rushes out, and Luis Diaz takes it round him and scores.
I can't remember specifically a clanger he's dropped.
No.
But it's just, I can't remember a time where he's made an amazing save
If
either.
you're getting dropped halfway through the season, can you be very high on the list?
No.
Probably not. Not at all.
No.
Who do you have, Reece?
I have Verbruggen as well.
Verbruggen.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
same pace as everyone else.
Ramsdale.
Ramsdale?
So he is, but thing is, right, I think he's a lot better than this, but you can't concede as many goals as Southampton have and stay high.
No, that's the issue.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
problem. So as much as I want him, he's much better than some of these other goalkeepers I put below him. He also can't go any higher than this.
Right. Who does everyone have in 14th?
I have Kepa in
You've got
14th.
Kepa.
I have
Kepa.
Ramsdale.
in 14th.
Got
Oh, you're
Ramsdale.
gonna be
Yeah.
really pissed off.
Right, let's have a look.
This is where I put Matt Hermanson.
Matt Hermanson.
This is where I put Matt
Oh,
Hermanson. In hindsight, I possibly could have put
I've got to
him one
disagree.
higher.
But I've mainly based this list off this season.
He
so
should
I've
be
got to
so much
disagree.
higher based on this season.
No, he should not.
And I know he's only
Leicester
had
have been
one,
so poor defensively. You
and
can't put him
he's
high.
prevented so much XG. We would be last without him. Maybe not last, but we would be a lot closer to Southampton than we are.
Yeah, but Southampton could be a lot less points without Ramsdale. It doesn't mean that.
He made 19 saves in one game
When?
against Arsenal.
That's Arsenal. Everyone. You know
No-
how many
no
shots-
other keepers
how many
made that.
shots you shipped
It was
to Arsenal.
that was a record amount of saves in one game. A
Nah.
record.
Looked very, very shaky this season. A lot better than your other options. In all fairness, like shush.
Looked
Let me make my
shaky
point.
this
You
season.
shush.
What on earth is he on
Matt
about?
Hermanson.
Incredibly
Shaky.
I don't agree with that one.
You're
No.
ridiculous.
He's not that good yet. Not for me.
Right.
You are ridiculous.
Well, as I've mainly based my list off of this season, 14th place for me is the City keeper Ederson being dropped. He's been dropped, and you've got to say this year not been at his best. Was he at his best last season? You know, he's very good with the ball at his feet, but you know, shot stopping wise, he's not been at it, and that's why he's been dropped for Ortega this year. So for me, that's the reason he's in 14th.
Yeah, I think he's been poor. he's coming next for me. 13th, Edison.
I based my list quite differently, so I put him way up because I based it off overall and stuff like that. Yeah, so he's a way up. Yeah, so
he's a little bit higher for me. He's not much higher. He's a little bit higher. He's been poor. He's not been that poor. A couple of clangers. He's not been as poor as some of these other goalkeepers in my list. I mean, I'll move it on to the next level. And I think I could, in hindsight, remembering some of the mistakes that he's made, I could possibly swap Hermansen up one and put Areola one below.
Wait, you've put Areola above Hermansen?
I have, yeah.
It gets worse.
Above Hermansen?
Sorry, can I just say, right? What? He pulled a face at me when I said that us three know about football and he doesn't, which is why we agreed. I want to repeat that. Us three know about football and he's just here for the vibes.
Crazy, Henry.
I know plenty about football. In hindsight, thinking about it, I possibly could swap them too. I could possibly swap them.
Possibly?
But...
Possibly.
Would you stop interrupting, please, for the love of Christ? Yeah, again, very good goalkeeper with his feet. Has made some clangers this season, fair enough. Can't go high, but is still decent enough. Was their kind of Conference League winning keeper. Not been his greatest season, but if you look back at the last couple of seasons, he has been pretty consistent. Yeah, possibly could swap them too, but yeah, probably around the same level.
Yeah,
for me.
Well, I have a very controversial opinion for 13th place.
Who have you got?
Because he's won a World Cup before, the goalkeeper.
Whoa.
no.
Emiliano Martinez this season, 13th place.
That might be worse than Henry's, to be honest.
I don't know.
No, I get it. The save was unbelievable against Nottingham Forest. It was one of the best saves, but you cannot base one save off of the entire season. And if you look at Aston Villa and how many clean sheets they've kept this season and the mistakes he's made, he's not been better than a lot of goalkeepers on this list.
I don't think he's made many mistakes, but as well, I think with this list, whilst we are mainly basing it off this season, that as we said, there is an element to how good they've been, and I think when he's on form, he can be the best in the league. So I don't think you can put him that low.
Right.
It's the same with Edison. Edison this season probably about 17th.
Yeah.
But you have to factor in that he has been really good for a long time, so that's why he's a 13th.
Yeah, but then again, I've put, this is why I've put them that low, because I am basing it off of this season and the performances that I have seen.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been great.
I think it's been a lot worse though.
Yeah. I don't think he's been great when I've watched him, to be totally honest. There's something about Martinez this year. It's not as comfortable. I wouldn't be as comfortable if I was an Aston Villa fan watching him than I would be last season. The performances last year were much better.
He's not been as
much
good,
better.
but he's not been as good, but he's still good. He's
Yeah.
still very good.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What did you guys put for 13?
We already did. I had Edison.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah.
I had Henderson at 13th. as well.
Henderson.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair
Yeah.
Right.
12?
I have Verbruggen.
I have Verbruggen.
Ah, cool.
I have Ramsdale 12th.
Right. You've
I,
got
ju-
Ramsdale in
it's, I
12.
think it's just more just a case of him overall, not just obviously this season. Obviously, Southampton a struggling team or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a bit of bias from
Yeah.
Arsenal perspective. Maybe I do rate Ramsdale a little higher than probably most people will. So
Well, no, I rate him highly. I just think because he's conceded so many because of how poor Southampton are. He can't
yeah,
be higher than
that's
the top.
but that's
The-
Southampton.
Okay.
Southampton.
You see, we discussed this. I reckon the season before Raya came in, he was either the best goalkeeper in the league or he was at least in the top 2 or 3.
I disagree with that.
The season before Raya.
No, I think
100%.
maybe top 6, maybe.
No, he was higher.
But
than
yeah,
that.
he was one of
And
the top keepers.
People are
when-
very quick to forget how good he was. And then obviously he's had a couple of seasons where he's not played.
No, I really liked him. I
just
did think he
A
was
couple of
good.
seasons where he's not played. And then he's at Southampton where you're going to ship 100 goals because you have a defence made of paper towel.
I'm totally in the minority here. I just never really rated him. I've never seen him as that
I'm shocked at
level
that.
goalkeeper.
No,
I don't know.
because
It's something
I
that
do
it
think
just
he's good.
it's not.
He's
It's not.
he
there's
shares a lot
something
of
about him
attributes
that
with
I
some great
I don't
goalkeepers.
think's good enough.
Ramsdale has a lot of attributes which are very consistent with great goalkeepers of all time. You look at his presence, you look at his communication skills, you look at how he commands a back line and then is able to pull off a great save and organise your defenders and structure. Arsenal's defence that season was fantastic because you had a great goalkeeper there who's making great saves and is also organising the back line. Okay, he's not going to make this amazing line-splitting pass, but why would you need him to? You have 4 defenders there who are great at that kind of thing.
Can I
Use your
play devil's
fullbacks.
advocate
Use
then.
Declan Rice, who is a great ball-playing midfielder.
Why, if he's so good at communication and organising a back line, have Southampton conceded so many goals?
Because they're all awful.
Yeah, but
Arsenal's defence was fantastic.
either way, you should be able to organise them to some extent.
Yeah, he
better,
can
right?
organise them and then people will just run through them. Because they're made of paper towns. They're all awful. I can't think of one defender at Southampton that I rate, apart from maybe Harwood Bellis.
I think as a goalkeeper, you have to some extent, you have to work with what's in front of you. Even if your defenders are rubbish, you should be shouting at them.
And
You
I
should be
think
there. You should be blocking him off.
It could be a lot worse without him. I think if
Oh yeah, 100%.
you
it's
stick
worse
Danny
without
Ward
him,
in
yeah.
that goal, you think you can.
If you stick
how
Danny
bad
Ward in
it's
a
gonna
goal, they've not got a point all season.
be. Exactly. So I think we've got to remember how good he is as a goalkeeper.
Right.
And personally, forget this whole ball-paying goalkeeper nonsense and just have normal goalkeepers and use your other players. You don't need every player on the pitch to be able to make these intricate little bars. There's no need. What's the point? Go back to the days of Peter Schmeichel.
Well, this
Right,
was quite a
please.
rant, wasn't it?
You're sounding like Sam Allardyce and things like that. You know, who
I am in mourning.
4-4-2.
I am a man in mourning.
But,
Started
my
watching
hero,
football too late.
Sean Dyche has lost his job. I am in mourning.
but yeah, I mean, I just
I
there's
think I'm
some-
worn all black today.
like
You should probably
Ramsdale,
keep the hat
he's,
off.
He's a solid Premier League goalkeeper, but
Do you want to be on
I've
this
got
show?
to disagree. I got to disagree.
God's sake.
What number were we on then? Was it number 12?
Yeah, it
was
is.
number
Yeah.
12.
Mine's not in that order anyway, so.
I've gone for the Manchester United goalkeeper from this season. on
Yeah, I think that's
12.
fair. I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
I think he's a decent goalkeeper, and I don't think he's been terrible. I think he's been decent, actually. Like last season, I thought he was decent. I thought the Champions League performances, on the other hand, were pretty poor from him, which is why he got called out a lot. But I do think he's a decent goalkeeper, Onana. He's not the worst in the league, but he's not the best.
So I'll make this point, and you're not going to interrupt me until I finish my point.
Yeah.
Shush. Earlier on in the season, like a couple of months ago, I would have had him top 5. Now I've dropped him lower than that because of his recent performances, but I can't drop him that low.
Right.
He has been good. He has made some fantastic saves. And to be fair, the first couple of months, I'd say he's probably our best player. The first couple of months. Then Ahmad took over, and I think he dropped a couple of clangers. But he's made some really impressive saves. And that might be biased just because I've watched more of him than I have on the other goalkeepers.
Yeah.
But I still think he gets higher than where you're putting him.
Who's your best now then, player for United?
Ahmad by a long
Still?
shot. Yeah, he's some ridiculous. Bruno's catching up, but Ahmad is fantastic.
Have we all said our 12 now?
Yeah.
we have.
We
Did I say for Bruggen?
yeah.
For
Hang on.
Bruggen for 12, wasn't it?
20,
for you?
21, 19,
Who?
18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So who does everyone have in 11th?
Well,
I
hang on, I
have-
didn't say 12.
Oh, have
didn't
you
say
not?
12.
And you didn't say 12. And
I
you
have.
didn't say
I've
12.
said 12.
No, I said Ramsdale. 12.
Ramsdale.
I said Verbruggen.
Verbruggen, and then who did you say then?
Hang on. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14.
Why don't you have a proper number order?
Yeah, ignore me. Because Excel's
11.
weird.
11.
Who's 11?
I've got Flecken.
You've got Flecken.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough for me. For this season anyway, I think he's done well. If you want to base it on last season, then
I
it's
think
bit
he's made a
different.
lot of
You probably drop him a
saves.
few
He's made a
places,
lot of saves.
But I think he definitely is up there.
He's, again, it's another thing of quality of defence for me.
That's the thing. I don't rate
yeah.
their defence though at all. Really. Well, they've got. It's not the worst defence in the league, but it's nowhere near the best. And he's
Right.
made a lot of saves against top teams. There's a reason that Brentford had that home record for so long. Is because he made so many saves to keep them in games when they needed him. I mean, it helps having Brian and Buemo and Johan Wissa scoring your goals every week, but
Scoring in the first minute.
you need a good keeper.
But they always
Yeah.
concede. You know they go up 1-0, 2-0, whatever, and you know they're going to ship a goal. It's kind of one of those things where it's like I don't feel comfortable with him in net at all.
I think
I don't think he commands any kind of confidence in anybody.
a goalkeeper though is the foundation of a team, and I think he's probably a good enough foundation for Brentford. You need a good keeper in goal. I don't think he's the
Yeah, you
best, but
do.
he's good. He's a good
And
foundation.
he is not that.
I think
He's not that personally. My number 12 was Dean Henderson.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think Dean Henderson's had a solid season.
Yeah.
Solid. I think that
He's
poor,
done very
again
well.
that first poor couple of months I think drops him a few places.
But to be
But
fair,
I think
Palace
you look back on
Palace
this
were
next
poor
year.
anyway.
And you do this list next year. I
Right.
reckon he's a lot higher.
Okay.
But,
Maybe.
Yeah.
but because he didn't start the strongest, I think you're gonna
I've got him.
to.
I've got him a bit higher than that.
Who have you guys got in 11 then?
I have got Bernd Leno as my number 11
Yeah, I think
for
that's fair.
Fulham. I think he's had a decent season. Of course, he made a clanger last night against West Ham.
Did he? I haven't
yeah,
seen it.
no,
Either
he
way.
no, literally he passes that. I think Danny Ings gets the ball off of him, knocks it to Paquetá, and Paquetá puts it
Oh,
in the
but
net.
most keepers have done that at some point. Maybe not this season, but in their career.
Exactly, they have done. I mean, he's had a decent year, to be fair to him. So I think number 11 is a decent spot.
I'm not going to lie to you. I put him a lot higher.
Okay.
A lot higher.
My problem with keepers is they can make one mistake and instantly be the bad guy, the villain, because of the fact that you're the last man. So it's annoying when a keeper misplaces a pass. Obviously, it's likely to result in a goal. Defenders misplace passes all game, and it's not a big thing. That's the thing. Like, I'm never ever gonna put a keeper low based on one misplaced pass. If they keep doing it, then they go lower. But who have you got, Reese?
This one I went with Hermanson. If you're basing off this season, you put him way higher. But obviously, this is his first season. If say you had 2 seasons, yes, you put him way higher.
I still think it's too low, but I can accept that more than
that's it. I was thinking about putting him a little bit higher, but I just thought, he could have gone a little bit higher. I still think
season you can't put him.
I think
he's not been that good.
No, but he's been. Have you watched us once?
Yes.
Seriously, have you watched us at all? Because
he was not that good.
He's saved so many shots he shouldn't have saved. I don't think he's really let in a goal that he shouldn't have let in. I don't think there's been a goal where someone's shot and I've thought, the keeper should be saving that. Maybe once or twice in this season. But every other goal I've looked at and thought, superb goal, he can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
So many long shots have been scored against us for that reason.
How have Leicester conceded so many goals that they have?
Because either long shots or... for example, basically all 4 goals we conceded against Arsenal, they played the ball wide, ball into the box, and no one clears it, and it's literally a tap-in. He can't do anything about that. You can't unless you guess the right way every single time. You can't save every single tap in from 6 yards out.
Expect more than what he has.
And didn't he make like 10 or more saves?
Probability.
He made about 19 saves. I think it was 19 in the game against Arsenal, and we still conceded 4 goals.
Yeah.
He can't do anything more.
Yeah.
What more can he do?
Yeah, I do agree. Right, now we're into the top 10. Who's everyone got a 10th?
Burnt Leno.
Leno, yeah. Edison.
Again, he stays in the top 10 purely because of how good he was in previous seasons.
See, I thought you were going to put him a lot lower than that. I thought you'd have him lowest out of all of us.
Yeah, I went for the lowest with him, didn't I? 14th.
Yeah.
I've tried to keep bias out of this and just go off purely what I believe in each of the goalkeepers.
Who have you got 10th?
I've got Vicario in 10th.
Right,
interesting.
Okay. I've got him a lot higher.
I've got him a decent bit higher.
Yeah, he's probably going with a mad game today, so put him down in 10th. So I think I should just put him first, just so he has
for context, we are recording this on Wednesday. Of course, Arsenal are taking on Tottenham tonight. Come on, Tottenham, get a result, please. In 10th, I have gone for Flecken.
Yeah,
I think top 10.
We have very similar lists.
He's been decent this season. He's not been
I can
bad.
understand
he's been good this season, which is what I've based it on. I've not based it on previous years. I've based it off of this season.
And this season, he's not been the 10th best goalkeeper in the league.
Brentford's
defence has not been that good.
No, but then again, is that down to the system or the formation that Brentford have got? It's not all down to the goalkeeper because Flecken has bailed them out a lot of times.
It's not all down to the goalkeeper, but I feel like it's got enough quality in it that he should be doing better than he is. I think there might be one defender in the entire Southampton that I rate at all, even slightly. With Brentford, you've got what's his name, Christoph Ayer. You've got Ben Mee is there.
Nathan Collins.
Quite good. Nathan Collins.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan Pinnock is the one that I'd highlight.
Had a good bit of time. So with those defenders and Thomas Frank, who's a great defensive coach and knows how to set up a team to not concede that many goals, I expect better.
Right. I mean, I feel like this season anyway, they've been better going forward than they have been defensively.
But they're that kind of team. They're one of those teams that are like, well, we'll score more goals than you. That's their
I think the last couple of seasons they've been pretty defensively solid. Frank has been that kind of coach before. This season they have gone balls to the wall and gone, okay, screw it, we are going to outscore you.
Yeah.
Which might affect him slightly, but I still expect more.
Who have you got 10th then?
Who did I say was 10th? Hang on, bear with me. 1, 2, 3.
You just said Edison.
Yeah, Edison is 10th.
Edison's 10th.
Sorry, I should have put these.
I
should have numbered these correctly, but I didn't.
You should. Yeah, you probably should have done. So I went for Flecken. You went for Edison. You went for
Leno.
And who'd you go for, Reece?
I went for 10th? Vicario. Yeah.
Cool. Now we are into the top 9. In 9th place, I have Robert Sanchez. He is in the top 10
Fucking
for me.
hell.
Seriously.
That's quite high.
Yeah.
I think he's had not as bad a season that everyone highlights.
He's turned it around.
A couple of poor games in big matches. For
They've
example,
already said they're going to recall Petrovic.
The Tottenham game and the Liverpool game, right? He was not at his best. He should have done better for a couple of the Liverpool goals, and in that Tottenham game, his distribution was not great. But there's been many games this season, right? Bournemouth game, saves a penalty. brilliant, man of the match. I can name you a few other games this season when I've watched Sanchez and he's done really, really well. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's the answer
Is
for
he
Chelsea.
top 10 though? Oh,
I don't think.
I
I don't think he's the answer, but he's done decently well.
I think that the thing is he started so badly, but he's turned it around quite a bit. Like he has been a lot better in recent weeks, but I think because of how bad he was at points and how many goals he might have cost Chelsea to this point, I think with a better keeper, one of the ones who's higher up on this list, they could be like well in that title race.
But then I also think
Agreed.
that's down to them defensively. Chelsea defensively have not been.
They got great defenders,
They've
and
not been
I
great
know it's on
there
the,
has been
there's been a weakness in the centre back role. There has been. They've conceded a lot of goals.
it's on the manager, to sort out the defence. Agreed, but it's also on the keeper. I think, as I said, who was it I said it with? I can't remember, but I think it was about Ramsdale. You said he was good at commanding a box.
Right.
You want your keeper to be commanding the box. Chelsea have great defenders. Why are they not defending well? It's because they're not being instructed well enough. Cucurella won the Euros. They've got Wesley Fofana. I hate him, but he's great.
He's not played though, has he? Really?
He did play for a significant
for a bit,
chunk.
but like, is he injured again now? Is he?
Probably.
He's injured for a while now.
Yeah.
Who's our other centre back normally?
They got Colwill.
Colwill. He's
Colwill,
good.
Toss him, but Colwill this season I felt like at times he's been a little bit
Colwill's
found
been
out
out-
on
But,
certain
but
occasions.
they're good
you
enough
know.
defenders. They're good enough defenders.
They've got decent defenders, but like
Sanchez
would
is
you
the
call any of
weakness
them
in the back line.
world class top defenders.
Colwill.
Probably.
Colwill a world class defender.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
right.
He should start for England.
I don't like him at Cucurella.
I think he's a decent player, but world class.
wouldn't
World
say
class is a big
world class.
statement. World
Yeah.
class, I'm talking Gabriel, Saliba, Van Dijk. They're
Yeah.
world class.
Yeah, I don't-
It depends
they're
on the
nowhere near
definitions,
that.
right? But I don't think Colwill is either there or he's very, very close.
He's got the potential
Yeah.
to be.
I think
He's
Cucurella
got the
is.
attributes. Do you think
Cucurella is really
Cucurella is
good.
a world class left back.
Name
It depends
better
on your
left backs.
definition.
There are better left backs, but name. See how many
Anthony
you can name.
Robinson. Anthony Robinson.
No.
Correct.
Sorry.
Anthony Robertson,
No.
he's been unbelievable this season.
I think
hasn't he?
this
If you-
season-
if you're
Yeah,
saying this season,
Anthony
he
Robinson
has been.
100%
He's been the best
is.
right back
You
left
can't
back
laugh
in
at
the
that one.
He's won the.
best left back.
I'd
He's
say
won,
Kirkus is
he's won the
even there,
Euros,
thereabouts.
and he's stayed at that consistent high level.
I don't think he's been as good as what he has been in the Euro. The Euros, he was better.
Right.
He was better. He was really
Cuc-
decent. in the
Cucurella
Euros.
is a
He's
whiny-
been a solid player.
I
He's
don't
a
like him.
whiny
Yeah, I don't
little
like him at all.
bitch,
He's horrible.
And his song pisses me the fuck off, but he's not terrible.
No.
He's decent. He's a top 5 left back.
But either way, I think Sanchez. He's been better recent weeks, but he didn't start well enough.
Okay.
Right.
I wouldn't say top 2, but he is top 5.
Who are we talking about here?
Cucurella.
Cucurella.
Yeah.
No, he's.
I'd put Anthony Robinson
I'm
ahead
not
of
saying
him.
he's not a bad left. He's a good left back, but is he a world class left back? No, probably
It depends
not.
on your
I can't
definition.
name many
we
better
can't
than
go
him.
down this argument, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
we don't know what.
Teo Hernandez.
Yeah, he's better.
Yeah. In the Premier League.
Oh no, because you have
I mean,
to be better than the other ones in the
Got to be in
world.
the Premier League. And Anthony Robinson's not a world class left back, but he's better than Cucurella right now. I don't think
Right,
that
hang
is
on,
a
hang on,
world
hang on,
class
hang
left
on,
back in the
hang on,
Premier
hang
League.
Hang on. Let's
There's not.
because the debate we're having is what is that world class, and that's a different debate we need to save for another podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our definitions of world class are very,
Yes,
very
yeah.
different.
Let's get back to it.
What number were we on?
We're number 9.
No.
Have I said Onana already?
No.
That's my number 9.
Number 9.
I've
Oh, no.
got-
I think-
I'll go in on as well.
I think it's just he's got mistakes in him. He'd be higher if he'd been as good as he can
Right.
be at all points. But like, for example, you look at that game against Forest, like Gibbs White goal. How he let that in, I'll never know. I know it curved a bit, but as a Premier League keeper, you should be able to read the flight of a ball,
Right.
and he can't always.
So you're not far off where I've put Onana actually, but yeah, I think he's better than that. I've gone with Martinez. This is where I put him.
Martinez, Yeah.
Yeah, again, this season's has dropped him because I think he's top 5 otherwise, but I think the season's dropped him.
I think he has to be higher for me, just because I think he is so good when he can be, and he's been
Yeah.
so good at points this season.
I think it's disrespectful
not-
to even put
But
that low
the
as
thing
well.
is,
That's
right,
why I
you
put him
say-
quite high.
You say because obviously Martinez has made that amazing save against Forest.
Yeah,
Onana's made an amazing save this season, and he's dropped a clanger, and so has Martinez.
But I think-
so. You can't say that Onana is there, and then when Martinez has pretty much done the exact same thing,
Well,
to have him much
well,
higher.
This is why
This
I put
is-
Onana 12 and Martinez 13.
but this is,
That's why I
They are
kept-
very
kept them in a
close.
similar
There is
position.
one player in between them for me.
Yeah.
for me, right? Who scored the most goals in the Prem this season? Actually, it might be second most now, but who scored the most?
Salah.
Well, I'm talking about Haaland.
Right.
Oh.
He's
Do
been
we have to?
it's been said that he has had a really, really poor season.
No,
but people are saying that he's nowhere near as good as he should be. That is because the levels he set. For me, Emi Martinez is the same story. People are expecting him to literally save everything because he's been that good for so long.
Same story,
and I think whilst he might have conceded maybe a couple that he shouldn't have conceded, he's still a very high level goalkeeper.
Villa looks a lot more shaky than
barely
Man
kept
City
any
has.
clean
But
sheets this
look at
season.
But the thing is, right,
look at their defence.
But bear with me, right? Because I think Villa have looked a lot. There's been a big drop off in Villa's defensive work than there has been in Man City's attacking work. They've been really poor defensively in Man City, a lot more than they have been attacking.
Right.
But they're still scoring goals. Okay. Haaland still has the second most goals in the league.
Yeah.
Martinez is nowhere near the second most clean sheets.
But they lost Douglas Luiz, who did a lot of defensive work.
Yeah.
They've lost. Well, I don't think have they lost any centre backs, but they've had a lot of injuries.
They've had
a lot of injuries.
But
So
then again,
the
even
back
last
line's
season-
not been settled enough.
Last season, right, Aston Villa, they didn't keep a lot of clean sheets, but Martinez did play better. He did play better. I don't think he's been.
But
as
he
good
has
this
kept them
season.
in games. Like, I mean, I know I didn't actually watch the whole game against Villa that we had.
Right.
But even in the highlights, he made 2 or 3 good saves.
Right. Yeah.
Which that's the levels I expect from a keeper in the higher end of the league, because you're making a few saves a game at least.
I mean, we're going to have to agree to disagree and move
Yeah, I
on.
agree.
We're into the top 8. Who has everyone got in 8th?
Vicario.
Vicario
I don't
eighth.
know if this is controversial or not, but
I've got him higher.
I've gone with Nick Pope.
Nick Pope.
No, I don't think that's controversial.
I've gone with Nick Pope as well.
I'm not, because with you lot, I can never fucking tell, because you
No,
just pick something. We're just going to disagree with
I
it.
have him higher, but I don't have him much higher.
He hasn't been that he hasn't made that many great saves, and I think Newcastle were really poor defensively at the start of the season.
Right.
They've improved a lot in.
And Dubravka's been in
last
the
couple of
team
weeks.
now.
He has got a couple of
Yeah,
appearances.
because Pope has been out injured, and
And-
Dubravka's done really well since then.
And
but
you
I
know
still think he's
earlier-
done solidly well.
You know, earlier when we were talking about Ramsdale
Yeah.
and where he could go, this is where I see him.
I don't
Weirdly, in my
know.
head, this is where I see him.
So you think
it
he's
makes
a
a
better,
lot of sense.
goalkeeper than Nick Pope?
I don't.
I think he can be, and I think that Nick Pope is going to start to drop off now that he gets a little bit.
I think who.
Right.
But I can see it though.
You know what I mean?
I think I can see it
question
because
for me-
he's still a young keeper as well. Pope is obviously he's getting on a bit as well. And I can see it.
Yeah.
The question for me is, if you don't have Pickford as England number 1, then which one of them is? Because for me, it's Nick Pope over Aaron Ramsdale.
I think he'll end up retiring from international football quicker than you think.
Well, no, but who? Like, the question is, which one is better for you?
I'd pick Ramsdale personally.
Dean Henderson.
Or Dean Henderson.
Oh,
that's the
that's
rogue
a shout,
one.
to be
That's
fair.
the
That's a
rogue one
rogue
that you
shout.
forget.
I'd go either Henderson or Ramsdale,
Yeah.
and then Pope.
Who did you have 8 for us?
I had. Well, I'm going to change it. Quick. I've gone with Leno 8.
You've gone with Leno.
Leno.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's
Keeper.
fair enough.
I've always liked Leno. I've always wanted him to do well at Arsenal. We
Yeah.
just, as I said, it just doesn't suit the playing out the
ball
back.
playing, the
But
ball
as a
position,
shot stopper,
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best.
I've
you
changed
know,
my mind
in
on
my
my
opinion.
list.
Yeah.
I'm changing one of mine.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right. Moving into the top 7, then.
So this is where we find ourselves at Andre Onana.
Right.
I feel like this is fair enough. This is.
I think you can put him that
I've
high.
got him a
I
bit
think I
lower.
can put him that high.
I've got
I
him
think
lower
I
than
think
that.
I think you can
We know.
justify putting him
You've
that
said
high.
already.
Yeah.
But I think 7th for me now is going to be Emi Martinez. That's where I draw
Right.
the line for him.
Yeah.
I think whilst he has been good at this season, he's not been as good, but he is still really good.
Yeah.
I think, and I think you can't put him much lower.
This is quite a kind of close group with Onana, Pope, Martinez, Edison. I feel like that kind of grouping of players, you can kind of put them pretty similar. I think Onana's the best of that group, mainly because he's made some really amazing saves this season, more than I think the rest of them. And I think he gets better as we start to improve as a club. I think next season you'll see an up.
Maybe.
If we decide to keep him, we're gonna go with an uptick in his performance.
Right.
I think
do you know
Amarim
Ramsey?
will want a better keeper though.
I think he's going to go for Diogo Costa, but that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if you try and sell him, where do you put him?
True.
Who takes
who have you guys got?
Well, for number 7, well, if we're basing this off of the past few seasons, I probably would have had this guy definitely in the top 2, or at least probably first. I've gone for Alisson due to his lack of minutes.
Wow!
He's been injured for half the season.
Alisson that low?
Alisson, but if you look at the other goalkeepers this season, right, we've got 6 other
just
goalkeepers
I'm
above.
just going to show you that.
This,
Yeah.
this
I wouldn't have him there though.
This
No,
is,
neither, I'm starting to
this
regret
is
it slightly.
the highest I could put him based on only playing 10 league games.
No, but
I based it off of this season. Right?
I think he's
This is
still
this
good.
I get that.
But no, but
over
it's
this
not.
season.
We did say it's not just about that.
Yeah.
I think
get that.
he's one of the ones for me where you have to have a bit of context of he's been injured a lot and he is still so good and he's come back in.
He's been solid. He's been solid. Don't get me wrong.
He's one of those players who, as soon as he's back from injury, you have to put him back in the team. Because Kelleher was great, but he still went straight back in the team.
No, 100%.
And that is a quality
I
that's
have
showing.
purely
Yeah.
based my list off of this season. That's what I've gone for.
Yeah, that's
See, I haven't.
That's my choice.
I
I've
think
gone
it's
for
fair
that.
enough.
And I
Okay.
think fair enough. 7th place is the highest I could put him.
I think you've
because all
gone too far the other way.
6 other goalkeepers are above him. They've played twice the amount of games this season.
I think
I've got to factor that in.
you could go bias in terms of putting someone much higher than they ought to be, which I've done plenty of occasions.
Right.
But you can correct too much the other way and like kind of anti-bias. And I think you've gone a bit too far the other
I'm
way.
not sure if it. Yeah, no.
Because he's still played the most minutes.
Yeah, but he's played 10 league games. Like, if you look at all the other keepers, Raya's probably played 20. You know, I've based it off of this season.
I'd rather have Alisson for 10 and Raya for 20.
He's played 50% of the games. I've based it off of this season.
I
I can't put him that high.
There is such a gap between Alisson and the rest of goalkeepers in this league. And you know how hard it is for me to say that.
There's not.
There is
Not-
such a gap.
not anymore.
I'd much rather have Alisson for 10 games than Raya for 20. Much rather.
No, two seasons ago, 100%. Maybe even last season as well, but not this season.
You know,
Only because he hasn't played though. When he has played, he's been fantastic.
He's not been the same level. Same as Emi Martinez.
He's still
not
been good.
He's been good, but not the same. Not the
No,
same.
but but not the same. But if we're talking a couple seasons ago, you know, he was unbelievable.
I just
That's such a.
He is world class.
He's unbelievable in comparison to Martinez is unbelievable. It's two different things. It is 100%.
Yeah.
As I said, the only reason I've put him this low is because I've based it off this season, and he's played half the minutes that my other 6 goalkeepers have who are above him.
Shall we?
Who have you got 7th, Reece?
I'm going with Pope.
Pope.
Seventh,
Yeah.
See, this is making me change again my next one.
To be fair, I'm going through this as I'm changing a little bit as I'm going through.
Yeah,
So I
same.
did have
See,
Pope. I did have Pope 6.
I'm
to
going
be
to
fair.
point this out that I haven't done this. I've stuck with the list that I wrote last night. I haven't made any changes.
You wrote it last night. We wrote it today.
I was going to say you wrote it just before the shoot because I'm prepared, even though I have a job and I was working last night. But just saying, saying. Shall we
I was
talk
editing
about?
our podcasts yesterday, so
Yeah, well,
Right, number 6.
shall we go into the Champions League place, the Champions League, the European place?
number
Yeah.
6. I was going to have someone else, but based on what you would, I'm going to put Nick Pope 6th.
Right. I think that's a solid shout.
Yeah.
I think that's a better shout.
I'm a little bit miffed that this guy is so low for you guys.
Right.
I think Bert Nano is fantastic. I think he's been one of, if not Fulham's best player in recent years, including this season.
Right.
So commanding of his area again, a great shot stopper. Not that bad with his feet, if I'm being
Do you know my
honest.
problem is though? I haven't watched Fulham enough, and I don't know how good he's been at points because, I mean, he wasn't great the couple times that I've watched him. I don't think like he wasn't bad, but he wasn't like I was watching him thinking, oh my god, what a keeper, what a save. I would love it if we signed him.
The thing is, right, he's really good against Man United. So the times I've watched him, he's been
That's
fantastic.
the thing, like, yeah.
But also,
you
like,
never know.
I have him in a fantasy team a few times. Like, he always gets me points. Obviously, I watch a lot more Fulham than you guys do because I have a slight affiliation to them.
One of your 15 clubs. That you've got.
Shush. But I just think Fulham's performances are kind of, they go along the same pattern as the form of 2 specific players,
Right.
one of which being Bernd Leno. I just think whenever Bernd Leno's on form, Fulham win. And I think that says a lot about the quality of the goalkeeper, personally.
Right.
I think he's been one of the, because he's one of these players you go, he's always that cheap buy on fantasy.
Right.
But
yeah.
there's a reason why people always get him, because he is cheap, but he's also incredibly good, and he's underrated massively, which is why I want to put him high on this list and go, okay, this guy is good.
Who have you guys got 6th?
I've got Mads Hermansen.
Yeah, that is where I originally had him.
I've got him in the top 6. I think him for Leicester this season, I know they've conceded lots of goals, which they have done, but he has been excellent. He's been superb. He's played a few more games than Alisson. If Alisson had played a few more games, Alisson would be above him, but he's played 4 less.
I
and,
think Alisson has to be above him.
I-
As much
yeah,
as I love
I
him,
mean,
Alisson has to be above him.
You know,
That's mad. That's ridiculous.
yeah, I mean,
Especially as the Liverpool fan.
Yeah,
as well.
that's it. I
I
thought you were
know,
having-
I know, but you know, I want to base it off of this season, and Hermansen's performances, I think, at Leicester have been superb. Like, you know, Alisson's performances have been great at Liverpool.
You're
as
going to
well,
show me this, aren't you?
But
No,
I
I'm
think
waiting.
they're a little bit. His performances at Leicester, like Alisson, I mean, he probably could do as good a job, but like, I don't know, 19 saves in one game, was it? I mean, that's.
I think it's that. Don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's 19. It might be 15
I'll
or
have a look
something.
now, but still, that's ridiculous.
It was
And
something
he's been,
ridiculous.
He's been decent all season before he got.
I mean, I've got his stats up for this
Was it
season.
something like? I thought it was something like 13
Right, well,
saves or whatever.
who have you got sixth? Because then I'll talk about him after.
Right, well, sixth. Well, I can't put this person any higher because purely based on the names I've got in the top 5. But I've gone with Sells in 6th. Obviously, if you base it off this season, based off this season, yeah, top 3. But I can't put him ahead of these other players because of the names.
I get it, but
because of the names, I can't.
I'm a Leicester fan, and I put him higher.
Yeah.
I think he's got to be higher than
I know,
that.
no,
He has to be.
I put him 6th, and I'm gone. He shouldn't be 6th based on this season. If we're basing the previous season, you probably say he's the best keeper, 2nd. You know, I'd even put Hermanson up in the top 5, top 6 as well. Like
which is why this is
but
yeah,
the names above, it's like
Yeah.
it'd be disrespectful otherwise to put.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I purely
below.
based it on this
I
season.
have the same logic here with 5th, which is Hermanson now. But I don't think you can put him much lower because he's faced 94 shots.
Yeah.
He's conceded 29. So he's saved over 2/3 of the shots he's faced.
Yeah.
He's prevented an XG of 35. You can't tell me that's not ridiculous.
I mean, if that's true,
That
that's.
doesn't seem
I'm looking at it right now. Wait, I did read it
XG
wrong.
faced of
Oh
35.
right, I was just about to say that.
So-
is-
And he
Come on.
says he's
So-
prevented six, but still,
that
30
6 is still really good.
6 is ridiculous.
So he's faced 94 shots, but that you would only expect to
On
concede
target.
35 shots. Well, okay, how many
On target, 94 on target.
How many Okay, 94 on target, and he should have. So the shots that he's facing are not good quality because there's only 35 of them that you'd expect to be a goal. 35
Right.
goals from those
Well, no,
94
but you
shots.
never have 1 XG for a shot.
But still, if you
the
have
highest,
6
the highest
plus-
you might get is 0.8.
No,
at
but
the
that's
very
what. But that's
highest.
what I'm saying. The quality of the shots that he's facing is poorer than. They're not guaranteed goals, right?
Well, no, because some might have been literally guaranteed goal. Like, for example, Havertz was on the line and he kicked it in. That probably only had a 0.95 XG.
Yeah.
But it is a 1, really.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I think he is just ridiculous. Like,
I'm just going to point out that he started this. He got the phone out
So,
first. So
per 90, he makes 4 saves. He saved 67%
Right.
of shots in a game. He has conceded 2 goals per game on average,
but I think
but
this,
prevented 0.3 on average.
We don't want to turn this into a stats.
No, I know.
No,
but
but
I'm
I
just
think-
pointing
thing.
out because people haven't watched him enough to realise how good he is.
Right.
Like he is such a
He has been
ridiculous
good.
level.
He has been
He's
good.
so good.
But I wonder. I can't have him this high when when Leicester have faced 2.2 shots a game, which is the joint most in the league.
We've conceded a lot more than that.
They've conceded 44 goals, which is the same number as Southampton. They've conceded the same number of
Yeah.
goals this season as Southampton. You cannot put Hermanson this high.
You said Aaron
can't.
Ramsdale's a great keeper.
I haven't put him in the top 10, have I?
No,
Where did I
you
put
haven't.
Ramsdale?
Yes,
14th.
but
It's
your
the
argument
difference.
about him
He's
is the same
performing much
argument.
better than
Yeah.
Ramsdale.
There's a reason. There's a
Much
reason
better.
that Ramsdale is not linked to a move to a bigger club, whereas Hermanson is linked for
Ramsdale
being
is
to go.
linked to big clubs all
But
the time.
there's a reason Hermanson is being linked to a 60 million move in the summer
Yeah,
because
Chelsea
he's
don't know how to
worth
spend
that.
money properly.
No, because he's worth that.
Like, no one is disputing that Ramsdale's not a solid Premier League goalkeeper.
But that's not what I'm saying.
No, I know, but
What I'm saying is, you look at the
top
defensive performances of the teams.
Right.
How can you justify putting Hermanson this high? I can understand
he's had
putting
an
it. I
excellent
can understand
season.
putting him higher than where I've put him. I kind of understand that, but you can't put him in the top 10.
Right,
don't-
you've
Based on the defensive performances of Leicester this season.
You've
No,
wa-
I
you've
disagree.
watched him. You watched him last season, and you saw how good he was last season.
He had shaky moments.
especially playing out from the back. He was really good.
Yeah.
But then everyone was thinking he didn't face any shots at all last season. Really, is he that good at shot stopping,
You
or
still
is he
nearly
just
slipped up on the league title.
is he just good with his feet? Like that's what people were asking. Is he just good with his feet, or can he save the ball? He's come up to the Premier League and he's proved. Oh my God! Yes, he can save the ball. That's
He
that's
came
the
up
big
to the
thing for
Premier
me.
League and conceded the joint most goals in the league. That's
Yeah,
what
but
he's done.
We have
But-
Wout
but-
Fast
but
at centre back. We have
let's-
James
but
Justin.
the thing is, let's
James
not
Justin's been at fault for 19 goals this season. That's not me making it up. That's a stat. He's been at fault for 19 goals. You can't have a go at him. When he's,
I'm not having a go at him. I'm just saying he can't be this high.
we have the
you
worst.
can't put
we
him in the top 6.
we
You
have
can't.
we have the worst
No.
defense in the league. I would say I think it's not a stretch to say we've got the worst defence.
No,
in the league.
Southampton's got a
But
much
the thing
worse
is, there's so
defence.
many teams that are down in
Wolves
the
are
league.
not far off you, actually. You and Wolves are kind of.
But they have
at the
at
bottom.
least a quality player. Who's our quality player in our defence? There's no one. Southampton have Taylor Harwood-Bellis. We have no one in defence who's good, and he's still
You haven't got
making
any.
that many
You
saves.
haven't got a star that I reckon could be decent, but I'd say the kind of overall level is much higher.
You were saying earlier, if we do this list in a few years, how high some people could be. I think Hermanson in a few
Yeah.
years will be first or second.
Wait, okay, that's a
could
bit.
be- no, he
that's
could
a
be-
stretch.
I think
could
no, I
be
think
up
he
there.
will.
But I think
He's
in 1 or 2
23.
years he could be where
He's
you're
20.
saying he
He's
is now.
23. He's nowhere near his prime yet.
No, I'm not saying he won't grow. He will grow. He won't be 1 or 2, but he'll grow to be a decent goalkeeper.
He will be first or second.
But right now,
I guarantee you
in
that.
this Leicester team, you cannot put him this high.
Who did you have 6, Reese?
Oh no, that's why I put Sells in there.
You put Sells.
Fifth. This is fifth.
Oh,
I
is
had
it,
him
is it
fifth.
fifth now?
Fifth.
Yeah, I had him fifth.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, yeah. For some reason, I put Vicario higher, and I've just realised he's played the same amount of games as Allison. So well, if I could redo it, I'd have
Yeah, I think
Vicario
you should
7th.
probably change
I'd
that
have
round.
Vicario 7th, Allison 6th, Hermanson 5th, and then I've got Dean Henderson 4th.
Right, hang on, I haven't said my 5th one yet.
Oh, you're not
Yeah,
saying the
yeah,
fifth
yeah.
one yet?
No.
Sorry, mate.
Sorry, I'm caught up on the debate about.
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Hermanson
Sorry,
again.
it happened for a couple minutes. I thought we'd come through it all.
I thought I was putting this guy quite high,
Right.
because of my love for him and the club and the manager that used to manage there.
Okay.
But Jordan Pickford does make an impact.
Oh,
And he
100%.
has-
Yeah.
and
I
he
think
has
he's up
That's
there.
quite low for
I
me.
think he's up
I
there.
thought I was putting him quite high, but I
He's
I
really
think-
that's really low for me.
Again, you remember I talk about commanding of the box and presence.
Yeah.
This is where he thrives, and I have doubted him for England before, but after the last tournament and after a couple of the performances in the last couple of tournaments, and then
You
obviously
can't doubt him.
his uptake in performance in the Premier League, he has got good quality. Jordan
Yeah.
Pickford, 100%.
He is really good.
Yeah.
and he
really
is the
good.
reason why Everton is still in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
that does say a lot.
We said you said fourth. So should we move on to fourth
We'll
now?
move on to
I've
fourth.
got Allison there because I don't think he's better this season. I don't think he's better than the next three
The
coming.
next 3. Yeah.
But I think he
No, I'll put him-
again.
I'll put him
Any other
sixth now.
season you ask this, he's first or second. But
Oh,
because of the keepers this season, he's fourth.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
me.
that's,
Yeah.
that's why I
Have
put
you got
him
Reece?
6th.
Well, in fourth, that's where I put Pickford.
Pickford.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
Yeah, I said I think he's underrated. I think a lot of people try to criticize Pickford and stuff like that, especially with like England, and say he's not good enough and things. But I think he's always been exceptional for Everton. He's always been probably one of their best players.
I'd
especially in the
say
last
it the other
couple
way
of years.
around. I think he's had some poor performances for Everton in previous seasons, but has always been pretty solid when he's played for England. And then recently, the last couple of years, he's really stepped it up.
No, I'd agree with
No,
Reece.
no,
I think I agree with Reece. I think he's
this
always
season-
been good for
this
Everton.
season's been his best, definitely.
Yeah.
I think he's had inconsistent seasons for
He has-
Everton for sure.
No, but I think
Exactly.
he's been better for Everton than he has for England. I would say.
No, I disagree with that. I think for England, he's always been.
He always turns
we
up for
always
England.
doubt him because
Yeah.
we always look at him in the Premier League and go, "Oh, he can do better than that." But when he's actually played for England,
Yeah.
he's been really good.
Oh, because I think the thing is with Pickford, you always compare him to when you look at the Premier League, and the reason why we kind of doubt him for England is the fact that you've got Alisson in the league, we've got Ederson, we've got all these other top Martinez and stuff like that. So you compare him as a name to these other guys, you go,
Yeah.
he's not good enough. But
Actually, he is.
But
Yeah.
you know, he's up there with them guys.
Who's your fourth?
In fourth for me, I've got Vicario.
You've put him this high. I've only
Again,
just
I
realised.
don't care about the unless they've played like 2 games all season. I don't really care
Right.
about this, and I'm going to go off their performances when they have played. If
I
they've
still
made
don't
it
think
to
he's
this
that
list,
high.
then clearly they've played enough. Vicario was their best player at the start of last season,
Yeah.
and I doubted him. I really did when he first came in. I was like, "Who the hell is this unknown fucking bastard?"
Yeah,
who's
bought him from Empoli.
20. He's what 25. I'm like, why? He's not going to grow. He's not going to get better. But actually, he was solid the entire time, and I thought they were fucked after Reece left. I really did. But he's been solid ever since. Kept loads of clean sheets. You trust him in between the thing. He's got confidence. Like I trust him, which I think goes a long way. I'd be happy anywhere kind of 4th to 6th, to be fair. But I think 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because again, Spurs have got to a cup final.
Right.
That's over Pickford, who
Yeah.
is at the bottom end of the relegation zone, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me.
I've got for Dean Henderson in the top 4. I think he's been that good.
Wow.
I think he's been
Whoa.
that
hell.
I
good.
forgot you didn't say the end.
Yeah,
I've not
that
said
is
Dean
ridiculous.
Henderson.
I forgot-
yet.
I
I
forgot
think
we
he's
moved
been
past
that good, to be totally
That is-
honest. You know,
That's
for
key,
Crystal
right?
Palace, their
Wow.
strength this year has been defensively. It has been going forward. They have lacked goals. Defensively has been their strong point. You know, I'm not sure how many they've conceded, but I'm pretty sure it's less than 30, which I think is quite good considering they're towards the bottom of the table.
I can't believe you got
I
Dean
think
Henderson
he's
higher
a
than
solid.
Allison.
He's done a solid season. And he's
wrong.
played the majority of the minutes, though. As I said, he's played almost double, again. And he's still performed to a good level. Alisson's performed to a good level, right? Don't get me wrong. But I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not like, Alisson's been incredible this season. There are a few keepers on here who have performed better than Alisson this season, and that's why they're in the top 3. There has been.
Yeah.
We're not gonna-
There
you're
is
not
a
gonna
couple
like
goalkeepers that
Alisson.
have been.
Who have we got third then?
Top 3.
We might
Yeah,
have got
top
this
three.
one. Everyone's got this one the same, mate.
I've got David Raya.
I've got David Raya.
I've got Raya, yeah.
I went Martinez just based off.
I forgot you still had him. Wow.
Fucking hell.
Martinez just because it's. I think yes, he hasn't had a great season compared to his past season this year, but it's still Martinez. I still can't put him any lower than third for me, just because. It's like what you've been saying about his expected quality. His overall quality is top 3, and that's I can't put.
I had him
any lower
5th
than
originally. I
third.
moved him down, but
Right,
yeah.
but I still think he's a good keeper.
I think
he's not that
Have
good.
you realised it yet?
I've got a whole 10 players, 10 positions difference with you for Martinez.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's a bit mad, but I understand given the context you've done the list and why.
Yeah, that's a
you've
bit.
done it.
I think all you got. I
This
think,
would not be ridiculous last year.
No,
I think you're all
probably
going to
not,
really not like my first, but
no. Right.
so
Who we got third place
so-
then? Has
so
everyone
we
done
went-
third
we went
place?
Raya.
We've all
I think-
done third place. haven't we?
Arsenal are solid defensively.
Yeah,
They have gone
it's
very
decent.
defensive this season, I will say.
Yes.
But Raya
Raya's
has
still-
been.
Raya's been good.
Yeah.
Who have we got second then? I don't know if we'll
I
all
went with
agree.
Raya. I went with Raya second.
You went
Raya
Raya
second.
I've got Matt Sells.
I've
in
gone for
second.
Jordan Pickford.
Oh, I've gone Matt Sales.
You've gone Matt
Yeah.
Sells. I've gone Pickford.
But we
in
all know who that
second.
means
Right.
first is for us. So I've got Pickford first. Who have you got first? So you got
Alisson.
Alisson.
I went
got
Alisson as well.
Alisson, and then
And
you've
I've got Matt Sells.
You've overcompensated.
I think I've overcompensated.
When Alisson has played this season, he has
He's
still been the best
solid.
goalkeeper in the league.
No, Sells has been better. You see
For-
that game last night. for
Sells has
example,
been
was
fantastic.
unbelievable.
For
He's been
me,
brilliant.
Sells and Pickford are basically interchangeable, but I think people are underrating how much Pickford has saved Everton as much as Sells has saved Forest. Forest are not doing as well as they are purely because of Matt Sells. Not purely. That it is a big reason.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Everton would be a lot worse than they are without Pickford because they've only scored 25 goals
But
this
then again, I
season.
think the setup that both teams have suits the goalkeepers.
It
Like,
does.
They
But
sit
yeah.
back and they
I think-
defend.
When it
As-
comes to
as I
top
was-
spot, all these goalkeepers are fantastic. You've got to look at what they're achieving. And as much as it's like, oh, this is amazing for us to be in the top 4, like this is way past where we expect them to be. I understand that. They're not top. They've not got the best defensive record in the league. That is held by Liverpool. Liverpool have played the best. They are top. They've defended the best. The goalkeeper has been the best.
I would
Therefore,
argue
Alisson.
Forest have defended better with what they've got though.
But
Oh,
take
100%.
that out of it for a second. You've got to give the best to the best. This is the whole thing of like, oh, why didn't Xavi win a Ballon d'Or and all this kind of stuff? No, Messi and Ronaldo were the best players each of those.
So
leagues.
you're saying give the best to the best. What if
Alisson has been the best.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a player who's played in a bad back line. Like there's been players who've played in a bad back line and won leagues because
Gone on
because
to
you
win
can.
leagues, yeah.
No. As in, there's sometimes teams that have won leagues where they've got, including the goalkeeper and the back 4, you've got 5 players. One of them is bad, and they've still won the league because the people around them are really
But
good.
Alisson hasn't been bad.
No, I'm not saying he is, but just saying that someone is the
And you
best
can
because their
isolate-
team is the best doesn't mean that
And you can
could be
isolate the
dragged
defensive
along.
performances based on goals conceded because they conceded the least goals.
I think Danny Drinkwater's won a Premier League. Does it mean that he's one of the best midfielders in that season?
That
He
season,
was-
you could talk about. You could say
He was
yes.
good, but he wasn't one of the best in the league that season. He was just good enough to be in that team. He was probably one of our worst players that season, but he was there because he was just good enough.
Right.
Doesn't
But
mean
one of
he's
the
the best
worst
in the
players
league.
for you last season was still a league-winning team. Again, you've got to go with the best player, and
But
that is Alisson.
As well, that's like saying when you pick team of the season, that means that all 11 players have to be from the team that
Yeah,
won the
I
league.
mean, he's still in the like Alisson's still in the top 6 for me because of the quality of the keeper and how he's played. But I'm not putting him first or second ahead of Sells and Pickford.
No,
because
obviously not.
they have played. They've had better seasons.
Pickford has been fantastic, but he's saved and kept Everton up. But he's kept Everton up.
right.
That's not an achievement as in getting European football.
I think
or winning the league.
I think it is an achievement though because I think
It
that
is an
squad
achievement,
is
but it's
so
not,
poor.
It's not the same as winning something.
They have NDI in that team. They have a couple of good defenders, and that's probably about it, excluding Pickford. But I
Right.
think Pickford, they've scored 25 goals, and they're not in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
That's purely down to Pickford.
I agree with Roy Keane on a lot of things, but do you remember when he was talking about Villa when they stayed up and
Right.
celebrating? Like, why would you stayed up? Great, now get on with it. I agree with him on that point. Like, staying up is great, yeah, fantastic. amazing.
It completely depends
It's
on the
not
club.
the same as winning a title or winning Champions League football.
Are you saying if Ipswich don't stay up this season, they shouldn't be celebrating? Because I think if Ipswich stay up, they should be having a massive celebration.
But I think
because
this
that's
is-
a
No, you
massive
build on
deal.
that. You build and try and build on it next
I get
season.
this conversation, and it is a good argument, but I think it is a different debate. So,
It
so
is,
you
yeah.
went for. Who did you
So
go
I've got
for?
Pickford
You
first.
went
He's
Pickford
for me the
first.
best in the league this
Pickford
season.
first.
Sells
You-
a second.
You went Allison.
Allison,
Did you
yeah.
go?
Allison as well.
You went Allison as
Yeah.
well, and I've gone Matt Sells. And I think that's a perfect way to end it. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure you like, subscribe to the Blue Podcast Network. If you are new around here, go check out all of our socials as well and on TikTok, and we'll see you for the next one. See you then.